In today's video, I'm going to create quite a few Dutch doors using the Happy Planner Moana sticker book, so stay tuned. Because we're going to be cutting a whole lot of Dutch doors in this spread, I'm going to jump right into things. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tracy, and I do like to play in my journals. So I do like to do a lot of Dutch door spreads, which involves a lot of cutouts and things of that nature. But I also like to stamp and stencil and try my hand at anything that I can think of. Plus, I do some functional and decorative planning. So if that sounds like it's something that is of interest to you and you have yet to subscribe, consider hitting that subscribe button. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of Dutch doors today. That was not part of the plan. That was like really far from the plan. I wanted this to be a very quick and easy spread. This will be an easy spread. Regardless of the fact that there's going to be a lot of Dutch doors, this is going to be an easy spread. All right, so let's talk about what I'm doing. My plan was to do Moana on the very first Dutch door. And then y'all don't hate me, but I haven't seen the movie. So I don't know the guy's name. That's in the movie. Should I say The Rock? He is going to be on the next page. That is as far as I made it through the decision process because, like I said, originally I just wanted to do a couple of Dutch doors, so that was my plan. All right, so you did see me put a Moana sticker here, and then the Happy Planner sticker book also has these washi strips. Or they're not really washi strips because they're all different lengths. They're already pre-cut, but they're just these sticker strips. So I figured I will use that as my washi to connect the stickers. Now, in Happy Planner sticker books, if you want to do Dutch doors, the easiest way is to use like their decorative vertical boxes or decorative squares or what have you, because they are not going, at least any of their older sticker books, I don't know about the future, but they don't have reverse images of their stickers. Now, floral stickers and things like that, a lot of times you can kind of use those because you can make them work. Obviously, if there's something symmetrical, like I said, your decorative vertical boxes, circles, or anything like that, you can make those work. But these like little cute little stickers like of Moana and stuff, there just aren't any reverse images. And it was really hard to try to find an image that was close enough in her pose to put on the other side once I cut it out. So I decided to just draw what I'm going to say a frame around it, but it's really just a box. I just boxed in my sticker, y'all. Now you can get really fancy with this if you want to. You can go and draw a Polaroid photo around it. You can make it a prettier photo frame to look like a real photo frame. You could also go simpler and literally just use a plain box sticker, like one of those vertical boxes I was talking about. You can pop that on there and then put the sticker on top. Now, the advantage to doing this is you're just cutting out a rectangle where the Dutch door is, which means you can put any sticker you want that will fit within that same shape on the opposite side. So it makes, it opens it up to be able to use a lot more stickers as part of your Dutch door. And because of that, I'm not going to even do the back side of this Dutch door right now. I'm going to wait because I can do that later because there are enough stickers in this book where I won't run out, even though I added more Dutch doors than I intended. So I was not really worried about that. Sometimes I will go ahead and do the back side of the page right after I finish the front side of the page, just because I don't want to accidentally use the sticker that I need. But in this case, I really wasn't worried about it. Now, this particular sticker book has smaller stickers, which are the ones that I'm using, but they also have larger versions of the same sticker. I wasn't sure if I was going to eventually use some of the larger ones, like maybe start out with the smaller ones. And then if I wanted to do more than the 2 Dutch doors, which, like I said, I will, maybe I can use larger ones at that point, which I don't do, but that's also an option. The larger stickers would also take up a little bit more room. So you wouldn't have to cut as many Dutch doors out because they're going to take up more room width-wise too. I also started pretty far in to my page, which is another reason why I ended up doing so many Dutch doors. So you can start closer to the edge if you want to do less Dutch doors, especially if you're just going to do a couple of them. And you could even at that point start in the back to kind of see where you would want to do your placement. So yeah, like I said, I used these little strips to connect my stickers. They had a couple of different ones. They actually had 3. One of them was like a foil blue, so I definitely knew I wasn't going to use that one, but I did like the peach floral and then the one with the green leaves, and I felt like the one with the green leaves will work, great for the other character in Moana because he has some green and things like that in a lot of his stickers. So that is the reason why I used that. And I did make sure that the washi strip was literally 1 row over from the previous one. So that way you could see it. You can't see it very much, but you'll be able to see it when the page is on top of the one that's behind it. I always struggle with how to verbally relay that information. So yeah, now I'm just kind of figuring out the placement of the sticker because I really wanted you to be able to see pretty much the entire sticker, which I knew you really can't do without like adding like a thick washi strip or something like that to kind of cover some of the gaps between the stickers. But the way these stickers were and the placement of it, it worked pretty well where I probably placed it where you could see 3/4 of the sticker, which is good enough for me. So the way I did it is I did do like 3 stickers on the first page and then 2 on the back page. I do think that works better as far as being able to see everything when all of the pages are down. There I go again, trying to figure out how to say that. So yeah, I used a stencil for the boxes. And the reason why I pulled out a stencil was because I wanted some of these boxes tilted. And I will say there is one box that I end up doing toward the end, which even with the stencil, it gets messed up. But I find that when I tilt it, I have a hard time making sure it's like, a perfect, whether it be a rectangle or square. So I was like, let me just go ahead and bust out my stencil to kind of help me with that. Obviously, if you do it straight up and down, you can just use the dot grid to help you line that up. But the dot grids don't always work when you do it angled. So that's why I did pull out the stencil. So yeah, that definitely helped me a little bit, but that is not a requirement. So yeah. So I did not know what I wanted to do for this 3rd page, but I knew I had a lot of space left. This is when I realized that I was going to have to cut a lot more than 2 Dutch doors. So I started putting some of these florals and leaves down on this page because I thought it looked nice behind it and it fit really well behind these 2 pages. Eventually what I do is I just line the whole page up from top to bottom with these florals. You will see me pull some of the florals off and not use them because I'm putting them on the end of my desk to reserve them for the opposite side. I will go ahead and do this one. Right when I finish cutting out this Dutch door, I will flip it and go ahead and put the other stickers on the reverse side. Just because this, I needed to make sure I didn't use those stickers elsewhere, so that way they actually fit in the space. And I was very, very lucky that all of these fit very, very well. There are a few where like the opposite side, there might be like a little bit of a larger border around the sticker. But other than that, it was pretty fine. Like I didn't have to cut off any pieces or anything like that to make it fit. So yeah, this was probably the more complicated of all of the spreads that I do today or all of the Dutch doors I do because like I said, everything else with me doing a frame made it super easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some music on. I'm going to let you watch the rest of the process. I will come back in and kind of talk through what I decide for the very last page, and then I'll pop back in when I talk about the front page as well. So let's chat. All right, so you can see that there was still quite a bit of space that I would need to cover with stickers on that back page if I didn't want any of like the white space showing. I guess I could have technically even cut out one more Dutch door if I really wanted to, but I was kind of done at this point. So luckily I found that those circle stickers, which I don't really know that like Happy Planner had that many circle stickers in some of the other books that I had, but they worked perfectly on this back page as far as you could see enough of the circle when you have the pages in front of it over top of it just to know what it was, except for that top one. The top one you can't, but you can see the actual quote, which I felt like was good enough. Now, between the circles, I do use one of the strips. We'll say washi strips, but like the little sticker strips. And then I just fill in all of the void space or like the rest of the white page with little small elements. So florals, seashells, basically whatever that would just fill in the area. Now you can't see all the stickers when the pages in front of it are on top of it, but I wanted this to kind of look like a complete page. You know, I wanted everything to kind of look well together, but you can see enough of it when the page is closed. So I really like how this looked. Thank goodness I was able to find a solution to this without having to do another Dutch door. But I think it looks really well in the end. And if you wanted to do another Dutch door, you could cut around those circles. I don't think there were that many in this sticker book though. So I'm not sure that there were 6, but you could definitely do 2 because I think there might have been one more, but it might have had foil on it to kind of, go ahead and make 4 of them. The other thing is, once you cut out a circle on the other side, you could just use like the same method that I did with the rectangles. Just use a marker to create your own circle and put a sticker in it. So, that's always another option. But if you wanted to do that 6th Dutch door, then you can do that as well. Something that I did not mention previously that I do want to quickly mention, this journal. This is a Happy Planner journal. It is the Happy Planner Mickey Mouse Disney journal. It came in a box set that still might be in the clearance section on the website. When I got it, it was like an extra percentage off, so it was like $14. I thought it was a good deal because it also came with a pen and 3 rolls of Disney washi. However, I'm not 100% sure of what the GSM is in this journal, but these pages are fairly thin. They are thinner than even the other Happy Planet bullet journals that I've used in the past, which I believe the other ones were pretty close to 160. This is not 160. I don't even think this is 120. This one might be like 80 to 100 GSM. So it wasn't like planner page thin, but it was a lot thinner. So that is something interesting. If you have any of the Disney Happy Planner journals, let me know if that is like what you've discovered as well, because I think they do have a couple of these Disney ones. And I just want to know if like the paper's thinner. I guess that might be the trade-off, so it's not super expensive, because I think regular it was like $30 for the journal, the Disney pen, and then the 3 washies. So I guess to keep the costs semi-low, they used thinner paper. I don't know. But I do just want to mention that to you guys. I could definitely tell when I was cutting, like when I was originally doing my initial cuts for the Dutch door, there were several times where I almost picked up 2 pieces of paper. Like that's how like I don't want to say it's like super thin, because like I said, it's not like your Happy Planner planner pages thin. But when you're used to using like an Archer and Olive or a Ty Fossey or whatever like notebooks that you use that have the 160, this is like a noticeable difference where, like I said, I was picking up 2 pages thinking it was just 1. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, it is a really cute journal though. I love the cover. I do think when I unboxed this, I mentioned I thought this would be a really cute journal to take to work, to use it as like a work notebook for meetings and stuff. With that, I don't think the paper matters. It's nice enough paper for that because, like I said, it's a step above the planner paper. But I do kind of just want to let you know that. All right. So yeah, I am right now just putting stickers on the back side of the Dutch door. The difficulty here was now outlining my rectangles or squares or whatever shape I created to go around the sticker, because now the cut 8 pages, I needed to cut right along the edge. So just remember when you do that, to put a piece of paper behind it so you're not cutting on and you're not drawing lines on the actual journal pages that are behind it. So I did do that. I remember to do that, which, is kind of surprising because a lot of times that's something I would forget. But I still just couldn't get a straight line when I was just drawing because, like I said, I don't know if it's because the paper was thin. It's probably just because it was cut. It just kept moving when I was trying to draw my straight line. So there's some like jagged little lines around the cut areas of the boxes. Now we've made it to the first page. And because I didn't really want to pull out any of my washi, even though I have so much washi, I wanted to stick to what was in this sticker book. I decided to use these decorative vertical boxes, which I don't really use in my planners or anything. So I figured this is a great time to use them. So I just created a design with those boxes. Plus, I did use some of the functional boxes as well because they were colored in and I thought they were really pretty, to kind of complete this design. Now, I've been doing this quite a bit in some of my other journals. I like the way this looks, and it's, you know, it's very easy to do to like cover up the space or like a large area, fairly quick and simple. As long as this isn't like a sticker, as long as these stickers aren't stickers that you are partial to and like to use in your planners or whatever, then this is a great way to use these up. Now, obviously, I am covering almost the entire page, so the functional space is limited, but you know, that's a problem for later, Tracy. There we go, guys. Truth be told, when I sat down and I pulled out this sticker book, before I started looking at these stickers in the sticker book, my idea was to do 2 cutout pages of the Dutch door and then decorate the back page. So it was like going to be just a 3-page spread or 6-page spread, however you want to call it. However, once I started looking at the size of the stickers and I was like, okay, there's some larger stickers, so maybe I can start out with smaller ones and then go larger. I wanted to start the Dutch doors a little bit further inward. And then as I started kind of going through, I only stuck with the smaller stickers. So here we are, 6 pages later, 5 pages with the Dutch door cutouts, and we are finally done. This was very simple though, with, you know, me doing frames around the stickers. They were straight cutouts. This one I didn't draw it as good on the other side, but it is fine. This one was a little bit of your traditional kind of cutouts when you're cutting around the actual florals. I did use my gyro cut, but you could also use an X-Acto knife or scissors here because this wasn't a super difficult cut. These stickers didn't really have much of like an intricate border around it, and a lot of the shapes were fairly simple. So it was fairly easy to do this. And it was also very easy to match up on the other side. So I was able to do that. And you can see here, I even switched the florals so that way they were going in the right direction when I put it on the other side. You do see I did get a little orange marker there that I might like white out or something. But I love how this turned out. I only put a few functional boxes on some of the larger pages, but for the most part, I just left all the other ones as is. Because like I said, I'm still trying to figure out a purpose for this journal. But there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some ideas. Maybe not necessarily Disney sticker book related, but maybe if, you know, your Happy Planner stickers, a lot of your Happy Planner sticker books are kind of laid out the same way, or maybe other shop stickers where they aren't the easiest for Dutch doors. This is a simple way to do it. And of course, I just love this look anyway. I've done this so much in a lot of my journals and even some of my planners because I just like doing this. I don't use these vertical boxes very often. You could also have done a Dutch door spread using these vertical boxes. Obviously, if you did that, you wouldn't be able to get too many on there. It would have been like two to a Dutch door, 2 to a door, but you still could have done that too, and that would have also been really, really simple. But there we go, guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing. That's all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.